YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing Sledgehammer's recent update that involves a lot of meta changes, some for the good, some for the bad. It really depends on what side of the field you're on. If you guys do enjoy the video or learn something new, make sure you drop a like on the video. It helps out tremendously. And if you're new, make sure you subscribe today if you want to be involved in patch notes, commentary, meta builds, and other things like that. And make sure your notifications are turned on. All right, but as far as the patch notes, of course, they always have to start off with the bug fixes. That's one of the biggest things they have to hit. Whenever a game comes out, there's so many moving parts and studios that are involved with it. Of course, they're gonna have some issues, so it's no surprise to any of us. Stability and performance resolved a crash that would occur when viewing weapon challenges. Bug fixes, close an exploit that allow players to equip weapon camos they have not unlocked yet. How do I not find out about this? Address an issue or prevented players from equipping the Borealis camo once it has been unlocked. As far as cosmetics, the Dragonfly blueprint will now appear as expected across all platforms. Addressed an issue that prevented the appearance of the IO operator from dynamically changing as expected. And lastly, they adjusted the ghoulie camo to prevent it from becoming overwhelmingly bright in dark environments. Moving on to multiplayer, wins will now progress, unlock armories without having to complete daily challenges. Now, this was a big deal for a lot of players, and we talked about this in my review video as well. Players like me that grind all the time, of course, I don't mind the daily challenges. It gave me a reason to play, and I can still do them if I want. But for the casual average player, meaning you guys that go outside, touch grass, you'll have lives, you actually do other things, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you guys to unlock armory unlocks without sitting in front of a TV and letting your brain melt from inside out. So I like that they changed this for you guys. Honestly, it's really just a common sense move, and I'm glad they fixed it. Really within the first few weeks of the game. I honestly didn't think they'd change it, but I love to see that. Today's update will include UI modifications to reflect this previously implemented change. Bug fixes. Players will no longer experience graphical corruption when transitioning between field upgrades and social menus. A lot of these I have not experienced yet. Let me know in the comments if you guys have. Also, as we're reading the bug fixes, if you guys are still experiencing bugs that they're not talking about, please let me know in the comments as well. But moving on, XP requirements in the progression menu will no longer display as negative values in certain conditions. And lastly, attachments that are incompatible with the current selection can no longer be equipped to a weapon. As far as progression challenges, updated the description of the Gilded Camo challenge for the MTZ 556 to accurately reflect its intended requirements. Weekly challenges requiring triple kills and quad kills will now properly track. Ooh, could you imagine sitting there doing triples and quads and it's not tracking the whole time? Damn. As far as maps, derail, adjusted environmental fog to increase contrast, improving visibility. Derail's biggest problem, I don't think it's visibility. I really think it's just the fact the map's too damn big. I think the way Call of Duty's evolved, that map requires at least like a 10v10. Honestly, it's so slow. It's more of a sniping map. If people are holding down really well with sniper rifles, you're not gonna be able to cross that terrain without getting your head plucked off. So I think that's its biggest downfall is it's just too big. It's like playing Battlefield in a 6v6 mode. And then Estate, with these two maps are my most hated ones, honestly. Decrease grime on windows and lodge and improve clarity. Between these two maps and Overpass, they just need to never put them in a voting together ever. Moving on to weapons, the Holger got nerfed. We'll talk about this in a second, but decreased headshot damage multiplier from 1.4 to 1.3, decreased neck, upper torso, arm, and hand damage multipliers from 1.1 to 1. Increased sprint to fire time from 210 to 231 milliseconds. Okay, so the Holger got a nerf. Doesn't seem like it's a massive nerf, but it's going to affect it relatively well. And then also the DG58 decreased maximum damage from 44 to 40, which is a 9%. That's a big one. Decreased medium range damage from 35 to 33. Decreased neck damage multiplier from 1.4 to 1.1. That's also a big one. Increased burst delay from 100 to 120. And then moving on to the last AR for the FR556, decreased maximum damage range from 44 to 43, decreased near medium damage from 40 to 36, decreased minimum damage from 36 to 33, decreased headshot damage multiplier from 1.5 to 1.4, decreased leg and foot multiplier from 1 to a 0.9, increased ADS from a 240 to a 260 millisecond, and increased sprint to fire time from a 210 to 231. So as far as ARs are concerned, they haven't hit them all, but your top three have definitely nerfed significantly. Moving on to Striker, and then I'll give my thoughts on this because I do have a few. The striker submachine gun increased maximum damage range from 9 to 19, which is a 114% increase, which is huge. Increased near medium damage from 33 to 36, increased far medium damage from 27 to 33, decreased ADS time from 240 to 230. The AR-9 submachine gun increased lower torso, lower arm, and hand damage from 1 to 1.1. And they also decreased the sprint to fire time from a 294 to a 206, which is huge. It's a 30% drop. And lastly, before we talk about this, is Striker 9 submachine gun decreased maximum damage range from 32 to 27, decreased ADS speed from a 275 to a 225, which is an 18% drop. Now, they're hitting ARs hard, they're buffing submachine guns, and I know a lot of players are like, gotta buff submachine guns, but here's my thoughts on the situation, how to balance it a little bit more accordingly. Submachine gun's biggest benefit should be ADS time should be light years faster than assault rifles, period. It should require you to be running and gunning. It should require you to be, I wouldn't say point blank, but relatively close to the enemy to really do damage, especially because they're 9mm going against 7.62. What I've found after playing this update is that the SMGs can now basically beam you, wouldn't say across map, but a damn well good distance, requiring players really just to sit still, using a heady and being able to shoot you down in a few bullets from more than half the map's distance. I don't think the SMG balance is good. I really think they need to focus on ADS speed, hip fire accuracy, things like that. Increasing damage range is a little much, and I know a lot of you guys right now are just slaying the shit out of me. They're like, Savage, SMGs are amazing, bro. They need to be meta. But the reality is, long range should be snipers, DMRs, marksman rifles. And then you have your medium range, which is ARs, and then of course your close range, which is SMGs. Before the update, ARs were absolutely dominant. SMGs were still pretty good. I do believe they needed a little bit of a buff, but I think this buff might be a little too much, especially since the ARs were up here, the SMGs are down here, and now that they buff the SMGs and nerf the ARs, this is definitely an SMG meta. ARs are still good, but SMGs are now just as good. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Again, these are my opinions. They're not factual. I want to hear your guys' thoughts though. And then as far as perks, ordnance gloves removed undocumented, reduction to cook frag grenades. And then that's it. So moving on to zombies. A lot of you guys out there, I know they nerfed the crap out of spawn rates and things like that. We will get into that conversation as well. All right, a few mission issues they had. Storm the castle, Warlord kill credit is now squad based, which is good. I think all of them should be squad based. I was doing the mission where you had to like use the spike turrets or whatever, and my teammates were doing it and wasn't giving it to me, even though we were doing the mission together. Don't understand that. But anyway, they've now made it squad based. And the required mission item will now spawn when a member of your squad kills the target. Interceptor, destroy the missionary. Convoy now accurately tracks completion. Picking up a key card from mercenary at the convoy will now count towards the mission completion. Perca-Colas, tombstone stowed. A tombstone will no longer appear in the next session. Essence can no longer be stowed. Addressed an issue where newly stowed items, acquisitions, and schematics would be replaced and therefore lost with previously sold items that underwent a swap item menu interaction. Close various exploits related to the use of symbol monkeys. Close an exploit that permitted duplication of score streaks. And then as far as the enemy zombies, zombie spawn priority has been adjusted to favor increased ground spawning. Players can expect fewer ambient zombie spawns in rooftops and higher elevations. Terminus outcomes, all mercenary damage against players has now been reduced, which is a massive W. Nothing was more infuriating than fighting mercenaries. It was they weren't crazy broken. I definitely think they're not as accurate as they were in the beginning of DMZ, but their damage, they hit like a tank, bro. They did. Shielded soldiers have now had a slower fire rate when engaged. And lastly, weapons, the pack-a-punch, they've addressed it to where if you pack-a-punch as a 3, it would show up as a 4, and stability, various stability fixes. There's still a lot of you guys on the fence whether you should buy it or not. And honestly, what I say is I'm having a lot of fun with the game, but just hold off. There's really no reason to rush into it. You have Warzone coming out, which I would assume is free to play. And then also Microsoft, if you guys are Xbox owners or PC owners, they are talking about adding all these games to Game Pass sometime throughout 2024. So we see all these passions, we see all these things, and before all these streamers and all these YouTubers get y'all super hyped up, this is how it's really always been. They always drop the game, they listen to community feedback, and then they just forget about you. And unfortunately, that's just a fact of the nature. I do like Sledgehammer, but we do have to remember there are a lot of studios involved in this, especially when a lot of you guys are here for Warzone content. guess who's involved with Warzone? So we don't know how that's really going to play out. I do see some positive changes. I haven't really seen any negative changes, minus, again, my thoughts on the SMG and AR balancing together. I really think if they're going to balance guns, if ARs are broken, just balance submachine guns and just play off of that. If you're changing too many guns, you're never really going to know what's perfectly balanced. Have all the guns come out, balance one gun 1 week, and then see how it plays, and then balance another one. I really think they're doing too much, and it makes it hard for them and creates this crazy imbalance. They might be doing that on purpose. Maybe that's their play. I don't know, but they want to create a fair experience and a fun experience for all. I think that's the best way to go about it. So let's cross our fingers that they can revive this game to its Modern Warfare 1 days. But guys, thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you learned something new, again, leave a like, subscribe today, but I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.